Hey, so today we're cracking open a digital toolbox, one that public health pros use every day to track diseases, figure out health trends, and, save lives. The absolute best part? Every single thing we're going to talk about is 100% free.
I mean, that's the big question, right? You've got all this raw information, just piles of numbers, notes, reports. How in the world do you take all of that and turn it into something that actually tells you what's going on with people's health?
Well, here's the amazing part. They are. So think of what we're doing today as handing you a treasure map. We're going to show you the exact software, the exact calculators that professionals use to turn data into discovery. It's kind of like we're opening up the whole field of public health research to everyone.
All right, let's get into it. Here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics, how to gather your data. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, analysis. After that, we'll look at how you'd plan a study from the ground up, and we'll wrap up with some incredible places to keep on learning.
Okay, first things first, before you can find anything, you need good, solid data. And I don't just mean any data. We're talking clean, organized, reliable information. This is the foundation everything else is built on.
Now, I know this sounds super basic, but trust me, it is the most important step. You've heard the saying garbage in, garbage out, right? Well, it's totally true. The quality of your data at the very beginning is going to decide whether you can trust your results at the very end. Simple as that.
So, let's look at a couple of the heavy hitters for data collection. You've got EpiInfo, which is kind of like a Swiss Army knife for public health. It helps you build your surveys, enter the data, and even map it out. Then you have Epidata Entry, which is more of a specialist. Its whole job is to make sure your data is super accurate. It even has this cool feature for double entry verification. That means two people type in the same data, and the software points out any place they don't match. It's an amazing way to catch typos right from the get-go. And of course, the list doesn't stop there. Epidata has another tool just for analysis and data management. And for all of you who are into coding, there's a package called EpiTools that works with the R programming language. It's packed with powerful stuff that's been tested out in the real world.
All right, let's open the next drawer in our toolbox. We've got our clean data, so now what? Now it's time to actually make sense of it all. This is where we start asking questions and let the numbers tell us a story.
You have definitely heard the term p-value thrown around. All it really is a guide. It helps you figure out if the pattern you're seeing in your data is a real thing or if it could have just happened by pure random chance.
And this is where these tools are just incredible. I mean, what used to be a super complicated by-hand calculation, you can now do in seconds online. It really frees you up to think about what the results actually mean instead of getting bogged down in the math.
So here are some of the go-to calculators. WinPPI is perfect for doing quick spot checks. OpenEpi is a real workhorse, especially for what's called stratified analysis. That's just a fancy way of saying you can split your data into different groups, like by age or by gender, to see if a trend is true for everyone. And GraphPad is this awesome, versatile online tool that can handle pretty much any kind of data you throw at it. And believe me, it gets even more specific. Say you're working on a new medical test and want to know how accurate it is. Well, there's the EBM calculator just for that. Or maybe your data is really simple, like in a little 2x2 table. Fisher's exact calculator is your best friend. The point is, whatever your question is, there's probably a free, specialized tool out there ready to help you answer it.
Okay, this is a really crucial point. You can have the cleanest data and the most powerful analysis tools in the world, but if your study wasn't designed well from the very beginning, your results just aren't going to be reliable. So this part is all about building that solid foundation.
A really solid study design thinks about all this stuff ahead of time. You got to ask, how many people do I actually need for this to be a legit study? That's your sample size. And then, how do I put people into different groups without being biased? That's randomization. Getting this right at the start is everything.
And for these two huge questions, there are a couple of brilliant free tools. The PS program helps you figure out the how many people part, and randomization.com helps you with the who goes where part. Both of these are absolutely essential if you want to run a fair and unbiased clinical trial.
You know, research isn't always about starting something new. Some of the most powerful insights we get come from looking at a bunch of studies that have already been done and combining their results. And for that job, Review Manager, or RevMan as people call it, is the absolute gold standard for doing these big picture reviews.
So look, having all these tools is fantastic, but knowing how to use them and where to find even more information, well, that's a whole other ballgame. So now let's check out the online libraries and classrooms that can help you with all of this.
Just think of this slide as your personal reference library. If you want to watch lectures from experts all over the world, check out Supercourse. If you need a tutorial on a specific piece of software, UCLA's site is amazing. You can even find an entire interactive statistics textbook online for free. It's incredible.
And here are even more great starting points. These websites are basically curated lists. They're like doorways that lead you to hundreds of other tools, calculators, and courses. They're fantastic rabbit holes to fall down if you're curious and want to just keep exploring.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. The ability to do this kind of important work, which used to be something only big institutions with a lot of money could do, is now available to pretty much anyone with an internet connection and a good question. The power is literally at your fingertips.
So that's the real question, isn't it? The tools are out there, they are incredibly powerful, and they don't cost a dime. With this toolbox now wide open, you just have to ask yourself, what will you set out to discover?